He returned home in his royal blue suit, only to see his 9-year-old son crying in a mustard-yellow t-shirt, clutching a white plate of broccoli at the neighbor's door. The pantry was locked, the fridge chained, and the truth was uglier than hunger, a betrayal for profit, a child punished for honesty. But when the father fought back, he turned shame into justice and gave his son the one thing money couldn't buy: dignity. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. The front door creaked open, sunlight spilling into the foyer. 9-year-old Milo stood there in his mustard-yellow t-shirt, clutching a white dinner plate. On it, broccoli, a scoop of mashed potatoes, and a small piece of chicken. His cheeks were strewn with tears. Behind him, a neighbor's hand still lingered in the air. He said he hasn't eaten all day, the neighbor murmured. From the driveway, Elliot Vance in his royal blue suit, fresh from a business trip, froze, his jaw clenched, both hands flying to his head. What the hell is this? Milo's lip trembled. Dad, I'm sorry. I was just hungry. Elliot marched forward, voice sharp. Hungry? In this house? With 3 refrigerators and 2 chefs? He snatched the plate from Milo's hands, shoving it back toward the neighbor. You don't feed my son. That's our job. His voice cracked on the last word. The neighbor stiffened, retreating. Milo shrank back, holding his stomach. I tried the kitchen, Dad. It just beeped red. Ms. Carver said, no food for me. Elliot's eyes narrowed. Miss Carver said that. He threw open the door fully and stormed inside. Milo trailing behind. The house was spotless. Too spotless. The air smelled faintly of lemon polish. Sterile and wrong. Elliot headed straight to the kitchen. His worst fear materialized in steel and cold plastic. A keypad bolted onto the pantry door. A chain padlocked around the fridge handles. Elliot spun on Milo. Since when? Milo sniffed. 3 days ago. She said, it's a program. If I talk back or don't sit straight, no dinner. His voice broke. I just wanted a sandwich. Where's Carver? Elliot barked. His voice echoed through the empty rooms. No reply. A tablet blinked on the island. Elliot snatched it up. A staff group chat glowed on screen. A pinned message at the top. Do not feed Milo without Carver's approval. Noncompliance equals dismissal. Elliot slammed the tablet down so hard the screen cracked. Milo flinched. Who else saw this? Elliot hissed. From the corner, the butler Halim emerged slowly, wringing his hands. Sir, she said it was therapeutic fasting, that it came from a doctor. She ordered us not to therapy. Elliot roared. Starving a child is therapy. He jabbed a finger into Halim's chest. And you obeyed? You watched my son beg for food? Halim's voice faltered. If we fed him, we'd be fired. She said it was your instruction. Sir Elliot turned to Milo, who was sobbing silently now. He crouched, gripping the boy's shoulders. Did I ever tell you couldn't eat? Milo shook his head. No, you always say finish your plate. Then why? Elliot pressed. Milo lowered his voice. Because I told the truth. I saw Nadia take money from your laundry drawer. I told Miss Carver. After that, my code stopped working. Elliot's stomach dropped. He rose, grabbing the security console on the wall. Fingers flew, the cameras rewound. Dad, don't. Milo whispered, tugging his sleeve. But Elliot's eyes were locked on the feed. On the grainy night vision screen, Nadia, the new maid, appeared. She carried sealed boxes of groceries out the back door. At the service gate, she handed them to a man in a gray hoodie. He stuffed envelopes into her bag before vanishing into the night. Elliot froze the frame. His reflection glared back at him from the screen, his face twisted with rage. "M.O.," he said slowly, his voice cold and sharp as glass. "They didn't starve you for discipline. They starved you to cover their theft." Milo wiped his nose. "I just wanted lunch." Elliot slammed the console shut. "Enough. I'm ending this tonight." The front door burst open. Ms. Carver strode in, clipboard in hand, Nadia trailing behind with forced composure. "Ah, Mr. Vance, you're early. I was just about to prepare a report." Elliot cut her off, voice like thunder. "Save it. I know everything." He jabbed at the paused camera feed. "Starving my son while you smuggle food out of my house. You think I won't burn your lies down?" Ms. Carver's mask cracked for a moment, then reset into cold defiance. "You approve the program, sir. I have the paperwork." Elliot stepped closer, his shadow swallowing hers. "Paperwork doesn't change what I saw or what he lived." He glanced at Milo, who clung to his sleeve. The boy's voice was small but fierce. "Tell her she's wrong, Dad. Tell her." Elliot looked from his son to the frozen image of Natty on the screen, handing boxes to a stranger. His jaw clenched until it hurt. Elliot's words hung in the air like a blade. This wasn't discipline. This was leverage. For what and for whom? Milo's small hand trembled against his sleeve. Ms. Carva smirked, but her eyes flickered. Mr. Vance, you're under stress from travel. Children exaggerate, and surveillance can be misinterpreted. I strongly advise you not to what? Elliot cut her off, his voice still. Not to believe my own son. Not to believe my own eyes. He stabbed the console with his finger, the screen replaying Nadia slipping boxes into the stranger's arms. Nadia's composure cracked. It wasn't what it looked like. Shut up. Elliot barked, the sound making Milo flinch. He caught himself, then softened only for his son. You've been through enough. Ms. Carver stepped forward, her clipboard like a shield. You are a busy man. You needed the house run properly. I enforced order. Do you know what happens to boys raised without discipline? They become spoiled, reckless. He becomes hungry. Elliot snapped. Hungry enough to beg a neighbor for scraps while his father's pantry is chained shut. Carver's jaw tightened. You'll regret talking to me like this. I have signed approvals. I have documentation. Documentation forged on my behalf doesn't scare me. Elliot moved closer, towering over her. What terrifies me is that I left my son in your care. Nadia dropped her eyes, whispering. It was Carver's idea. She said, if we controlled the boy, we controlled you. Carver's head whipped toward her. Shut your mouth. But it was too late. Elliot seized the opening. Controlled me? How? Nadia's words tumbled out, broken. The man at the gate, he's with Sloan Group. They paid Carver to stage a scandal. If your son looked neglected, if footage leaked, your company stock would dive. They'd buy cheap, make millions, Milo gasped. They hurt me for money. Elliot's heart cracked at the boy's voice. He bent low, steadying him. They tried, but they failed. Because you told the truth, he straightened, his fury boiling over. Carver, you starved my child for a payday. Carver's smirk evaporated. You can't prove intent. I don't need intent, Elliot shot back. He pulled out his phone, tapping quickly. I have video. I have witnesses. And I have a son whose word carries more weight than your forged files. Police sirens wailed in the distance, fast, urgent. Carver's composure finally cracked. Sweat beat her forehead. Nadia crumpled onto a stool, face in her hands. When officers stormed in, Elliot didn't flinch. He handed them the cracked tablet, the security drive, and pointed at both women. Child endangerment, theft, conspiracy to commit fraud. His voice was ice. Take them out of my house. Carver protested, voice shrill. He'll regret this. He'll lose investors. Elliot's roar cut her down. I'd burn every investor before I let my boy starve again. The officers hauled them out. Milo clung to Elliot's suit, silent tears streaking his cheeks. For the first time, Elliot let his own eyes burn too. Later that night, the house was quiet. The locks were gone. The chains ripped off the fridge. Elliot cracked eggs into a pan, Milo beside him. The boy's yellow t-shirt was stained, but he stood taller now. Can I stir? Milo asked, timid. Elliot handed him the spatula. This kitchen belongs to you as much as me. He set the broccoli on the counter. No one keeps food from you again. They ate side by side at the island. Milo hesitated, then whispered, Are you mad at me for asking the neighbor? Elliot shook his head. I'm proud of you. You knew you deserved better. You asked for help when no one else listened. That's courage, son. Milo's shoulders finally loosened. He took a bite, then another. The next morning, the front door opened again. But this time, Milo wasn't crying. He stood there, still in his yellow shirt, holding a fresh white plate piled with eggs and toast. The same neighbor's child stood shyly outside. Here, Milo said, offering the plate. Thank you for yesterday. Elliot, in his blue suit, watched from the driveway. His hands weren't on his head anymore. They rested at his sides, steady as pride filled his chest. He had nearly lost his son to the cruelty of those he trusted. But now he saw clearly wealth meant nothing if his boy ever went hungry again. If this story gripped you, hit like to support us. Subscribe for more powerful true-to-life dramas and comment below. What would you have done if you found your child begging for food? Your voice matters. Share your thoughts.